Lori La Bey is a passionate and inspiring keynote speaker and the founder of Alzheimer Speaks, a Minnesota-based advocacy group and media outlet, making an international impact by providing education and support for those dealing with Alzheimer's disease and other dementias. Her own mother struggled with dementia for over 30 years. Her radio show is also believed to be the first program dedicated to dementia in the world, along with the first webinar series called Dementia Chats, whose experts are those diagnosed with the disease. La Bey ignited the fire that sparked the first dementia-friendly community in the United States. Lori is a highly sought-after speaker, trainer, and advocate for new delivery systems and attitudes towards those with living and dealing with dementia. La Bey is driven to provide a variety of free resources to connect family, friends, professionals, advocates, and those just interested in learning how to live positive and purpose-filled lives with dementia. Lori La Bey, changing how caregiving is perceived, received, and delivered.
Lori La Bey, I'm delighted to say, joins us now. I know you want to give a voice to all, don't you, Lori? Hello to you.
Hello, I am thrilled to be here. So thank you.
Oh, it's lovely. What time is it with you?
It's 8:30 in the morning.
And have you been having these kind of sunshine and then horrendous showers out there, or what's the weather with you?
Oh, it's getting ready to snow over here. So
snow? Oh.
Yep.
Too soon, too soon. Now, listen, Lori, I mean, we've just seen that little snippet of some of the things that you have absolutely started and run with, and, you know, so many people get involved with. But just like one of our previous guests, Shobna, it all started, didn't it? Because your own mother had dementia.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't be in this space without her. You know, it's not something you sign up for or even know about until you have to, for most people. So yeah, it was definitely a journey that pulled me in and said, we've got to do better. We've got to meet families' needs in a different fashion than what is being applied out there right now.
I think for many people who are listening to this now and watching this, you know, that's their experience. So you know, you say you don't know what to do you, when this happens to you? Because it's so shocking, and part of you thinks, oh my God, the world's ended in a way, don't you? Because you just don't know which way to turn.
Well, I always say you don't know what you don't know. I mean, and you don't even know the terms, you don't know what to ask for. And the sad part is, you know, my mom's been gone since 2014. And she lived with it for 30 years, and things really haven't changed that much in terms of people getting connected to the resources that they need. They're still walking out of the doctor's office with a prescription, a next appointment, and maybe, if they're lucky, a phone number to one of the larger organizations, but many don't even receive that. And they're lost, you know, they're just fumbling on their own. And thank God the conversation has picked up. But you know, that has really been driven, in my perception, more by the public's demand than by organizations taking the lead on this and saying this isn't all doom and gloom. There's a lot more out here, you know, for people to be able to find help, find support, and not feel so isolated and alone.
So where did you even begin to start then, when you found out your mum's diagnosis?
Well, you know, it was really difficult because she was misdiagnosed for 10 years. She was told that she had, you know, it was her hormones. And so we were really lost. And my mom kept telling the doctor, this isn't my girlfriend's hormones. We talk about this. My symptoms are very different. But her doctor, you know, they had their doctor for 40 years. He was uneducated. Very few, you know, physicians really were educated in this. And then by the time she was formally diagnosed 10 years later, it was, she's got the mentality of a 3-year-old and don't let her out of your sight. And we didn't even have a meeting with the doctor. They just sent a letter out to us confirming test results like 3 months later. And so we were just really all on our own with no direction in terms of where to go at all. I remember my great aunt also having dementia, and when I was 13, and I cried for like 2 weeks, thinking, how can she not remember me? What did I do that she doesn't love me anymore? And I remember that pain. And I remember screaming out, I don't ever want anyone to feel this pain, ever. And so when I connected the dots of what I've gone through and how I've grown up, it makes sense that I'm in this space. We can all help one another if we're able to raise voice, if we are able to give people a comfortable platform, an area to be able to speak honestly, and not judge. We're learning so much through those with the lived experience and those caring for them. And I really think that needs to, continue to expand.
And I think that is definitely what we're hearing loud and clear from some of the speakers that we've had this morning as well. So did it come to you, I'm going to do a radio station, or what happened? Where did this vision come from?
Well, I was selling residential real estate. I worked a lot with senior communities, and so I did a lot with transitions. And then I started speaking about, my mom's dementia and trying to give people hope and say there's still joy, but you're only going to find what you're looking for. So if we're teaching people to look for doom and gloom and all the bad, that's all they're going to find. And so they encouraged me. I started with a blog, and I was shocked because people around the world resonated with some of my personal stories, which I wrote about back in 2009. And so again, they kept kind of pushing me in this direction. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, all bets are down. I put in my savings, my retirement. I said, all bets on the line. Somebody's got to start this shift from crisis to comfort. And why can't it be me? Big or small, whatever difference I make, I don't care, as long as it's movement forward. And my whole goal was to reach people in a different way. We all know we learn differently, so why aren't we using different types of platforms to engage? To me, it just made sense to start a conversation and not talk at people, but talk with them, raise their voices, raise their concerns, raise their initiatives, their ideas, get creative, and help spark new ways. And that's really just been such a privilege. And then from there, I just kind of kept flowing, with the dementia chats, which is facilitating a conversation with the true voices, those diagnosed. I mean, those are brilliant segments. I learned something every single time.
Tell us a little bit more about Dementia Chats. It's a webinar series, isn't it?
Yeah, we get together about once a month, and they pick the topic, and it's very fluid. We've tried to have certain topics in certain months, and that just doesn't work because life interferes and something always comes up. So we meet a half an hour ahead of time, pick our topic, and then, like I said, I just facilitate the conversation. What does this topic mean to you? How does it make you feel? What's working? What's not? And they just give us brilliant insights, wonderful quotes, ways to adapt. They talk about big picture in terms of what's working and what's not. And they show that, we all say, you met one person with dementia, you've met one, but they show the prime example of not only people being different, but being able to have different views in a respectful way and ideas, and embracing one another, learning from one another, and pushing the ball forward. And they're just absolutely wonderful. I so enjoy doing them. They're free access on YouTube. Use them as much as you want out there. Some people use them for training, and they're wonderful for families to see. They're wonderful for people who are newly diagnosed to see people speaking, with dementia, because even if they've been told, with young onset, people still, I think, in the back of their mind think, old, not communicating, in a wheelchair. There's that still hangs in there no matter how much we talk. And being able to see people physically active and activists and empowered, it's a cool thing to be part of.
One of the people that will be joining us in the Q&A again is Willie, who lives with Alzheimer's, and who's the most eloquent person talking about how he feels. And this is what we're trying to get over, that it's an empowering thing, that people who live with dementia, Alzheimer's, they need to know and make their own decisions about things, because nobody wants to have stuff imposed on them, do they? And I guess that's what you're really feeding with your radio station and with your webinar chats.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that I hear them say all the time is I've never lived with such purpose. I thought I had a purpose-filled life before, but now that I have this, I know I'm making a difference not only in my life, but in so many others. They're learning, they're teaching, they're much more open, they're creative, their relationships are deeper. It's amazing what they tell me. But again, you have to get to that space and pull yourself kind of out of that doom and gloom and that depression. And that's what's so cool. I mean, there's resources like Dementia Map, where you can go and find like dementia mentors, where they can be mentored by another person with dementia who knows what it feels like, what it looks like when people treat you differently, and get them socially connected, get them empowered, lift them up, and get back to that. You are a person and you have not lost that, and you are valued. And join us. It's very powerful, the changes that are taking place.
I mentioned this, and not to trivialize it at all, because this is what I've had long COVID, which is nothing like having Alzheimer's. But one of the things that gives you is this COVID brain. So at times you just completely lose where you are. Can't remember what you're going to say. You panic. Luckily, much better. But it just gave me an absolute tiny insight about what it must be like to feel like you are losing control of yourself. It's how much do you think, talking to others who perhaps have these moments, how much do you think it helps people talking to each other about shared experiences?
Oh, it takes the loneliness out. It makes their experience normal instead of I'm the only one. Same with care partners. When we get them together and they're able to share their experiences. I mean, in memory cafes, I've seen people tell the group things they've not told anybody, not their best friend, not their family. And then all of a sudden it triggers these sparks of that's happened to me too. And you can feel the sigh of relief of, oh, this is what I should expect. This is okay. I don't have to worry this much about this. I'll get through this. And people with dementia, I think, feel the same way. They want to learn, they want to participate, they want to help change the world and make it better for the next guy. Even though many say there probably won't be a cure in my lifetime, that doesn't mean I can't make a difference for my kids and my grandchildren and the rest of the people out there. There's a lot of great life to be lived. In our breakout session, people were talking about people need to expose, the real person, the whole person, in their life's journey. It's not all about dementia. Dementia is an add-on, like heart disease or diabetes or any of those things. We don't want them, but they're baggage we have to lug along with us. But we still have the right to live our lives. They all do. People with dementia, people caring for dementia, they have a right to be part of society and feel that they can contribute.
Is there anything that you all won't discuss? Is there any sort of stone that's, left unturned?
No, I'm very open, because I think I'm a firm believer, if we don't have these discussions, if we don't put everything on the table, and if we're not inclusive of everyone's opinions, we can't make sustainable change. When I got into speaking, I was told by our National Speakers Association, you have to pick a lane. Are you going to talk with the patient? Are you going to talk with the families? Are you going to talk with direct line? Are you going to talk with administrative, medical professionals? And I'm like, hey, we all affect one another. And we can all learn from one another. And I think that's the fastest way to really make progress, is be inclusive, be respectful, and tap into everybody's skills. We're missing so much when we're not inclusive.
How difficult was it for you? Obviously, financially, you put a lot on the line. How difficult was it for you to bring this vision of a radio station, Alzheimer Speaks, the webinar chats, everything that you do, how difficult has it been to maintain as well?
Well, when you're on a shoestring budget, you find alternative ways that don't cost big dollars. And one of the biggest lessons I learned in this process was align with people of passion. Don't go after titles, don't go after organizations if they really aren't on board with your vision. It will slow things down. Get everyday people that understand and make space for them, and you can push through so much faster. I mean, I'm just a single person. I don't have any staff, and people go, how do you do what you do? And it's like, because I have this wonderful supportive group that just ignites me to do more. It energizes me. They give me insights. They're all my mentors, and they might look at me as a mentor, but it's again, that evening out of the playing field and appreciating those around you and what they do.
From what you were saying earlier, it seems potentially your mum had no idea of the great strides you were making.
Oh, I think she did. We are connected on a whole different level. I still believe she's right here with me. In fact, Jane Moore sent us a Purple Angel ambassador. I said, can I have one for my mom too? I said, because I wouldn't be here without her. And she has taught me so much. I look at the life lessons and the opportunities at hand. Everything that's good for dementia is good for all of your life. For everyone you meet, there really isn't a downside to the lessons that can be learned to be a better person. And I just think it's been an incredible journey. It's been a gift in a really strange package. I'll be the first to admit that. I wasn't expecting this at all, but I don't see any end to the possibilities that we can do together when we join forces, when we share what we're doing, when we allow people to duplicate, what it is we're doing. Even with, we've got a thing called Dementia Map, which is a resource directory that we encourage people to utilize. It's free. But people would say to me, well, why would you want other radio shows listed? I'm like, well, why wouldn't I? Pete's got a great show. There's lots of different things that are happening, and people have a right to choice. I feel really strongly about that. It might not meet my needs. It might not meet yours, but it was developed because it met somebody's needs. And we have to go, expand across, cultural barriers and so many different needs that we have. And instead of separating people, we need to bring people together and amplify. We are much more alike than we are different.
And do you feel, looking to the future, that you're going to be able to continue to expand this vision that you have of connecting people, empowering people?
I don't, like I said, I don't see an end to it. We're just starting a new piece called Dementia in the Arts, which will be another platform to raise people's voices that are living with dementia and showing their contributions through art, how it makes them feel, how it makes other people feel. We're going to start, I'm in the process of doing a new website. We're going to have a memory wall that will lift our advocates up and highlight their work. I think the more ways we can connect to people, the better, because everybody likes to learn different. We've got poetry sections. There's so much work to do, the different types of meetings. And even like with the memory cafes, I was so thrilled to talk with Norms McNamara, and he shared those with me and got me connected. And here in the US, no one ever would have said, here, take it, but you guys said, hey, we'll change the words even for you, so they're US friendly. And that's the attitude we need. We need this giving, sharing attitude to expand the work at hand instead of everybody recreating the wheel.
Well, listen, I've got a message here from Carlos, who's in California, and he says, Laurie, your purpose is a part of the expanding support circle that we caregivers need as a resource. Thank you for your efforts and being an example, leading the way for conversations about dementia. And sometimes, actually, it's as simple as that. It's about empowering people to think, yeah, we can talk about this, rather than sort of hiding it under the carpet.
Oh, so true. So true. We have to get it out of the closet and, to the dining room table, or, to the pub, wherever you meet. This should be an easy conversation, and we have to allow people to have their emotions. I mean, if any of us got diagnosed with any kind of chronic illness, we're going to have a flood of emotions that we have to go through. And yet people feel that they have to stuff it, that people aren't going to understand. It's like every living human being goes through a cycle of emotions. Why are we embarrassed of this? As long as we're not hurting anybody else, let us process these things. Let us see that this is normal. It is healthy. To me, it's just so black and white. And I guess that's probably one of my biggest problems, is I see it as really simple solutions. And so often I see organizations and individuals alike making it complicated, because if it's complicated, you have to come to me, and none of us are going to be able to serve everybody. And there is plenty that need us. So let's just get on and work together.
I don't think you actually know the word no, do you, Laurie?
I have learned to use it more often, but its boundaries are still hard because there's just so much work to be done. And I love my work. It just doesn't feel like work to me.
Laurie, it's an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Getting some lovely comments on our chat line, and you'll be coming back to us to do a question and answer session, won't you?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. Thank you so much indeed, Laurie LeBay, talking to us here at the Brace Conference.